That's my baby girl right there. Ooh, she with her friends. I'm a dog, I ain't shit. I'ma wind up in her friends. Bad guy, outlaw. Ooh, I'm like Pac, but I ain't die after the second time I got shot.
Oh, Latinos, this is your boy Tico Tren, and I'm gonna talk about male bitch thing, because that needs to be a topic that needs to be addressed, because there's a lot of that shit going on for all intents and purposes, which I've always found funny. What's up, Shinobi One, and whoever else is lurking in the shadows? But yeah, male bitch think is a thing that's actually going on right now, and it's kind of funny for the fact that a lot of men actually suffer from it and don't even realize they suffer from it up until their feelings get hurt. Then you realize that they're actually suffering from male bitch thing. It's typically how that works. The sad part about that is the things I've always found funny about people who suffer from male bitch thing is the minute I say something to them, their feelings get hurt. Then they want to go into male bitch thing. It's just typically how that is. I'm sorry. I didn't know he was live. I basically moved this back because I had something to do and I ended up putting out another video before that. If I'd have known he was live, I wouldn't even have went live all for all intents purposes. But yeah, typically how this works is there's a lot of men. There's a lot of men, and this is not to take shots at anybody, that'll do and say things after they get their feelings hurt that'll turn into male bitch thing. Like a good example of that is there are men who get their feelings hurt and they'll just say stuff. They'll say like one word, they'll like say one line things at you because they're mad at you because their feelings are hurt by you. That's typically what women do for all intents and purposes. When you say something, they'll say something snide to basically try to, get you off game. And the sad part, or get you to respond, or try to drag you down to their level for all intents and purposes. The sad part about that is the thing I love about that is when women do it, men notice it. But the sad part about that is when men do it, nobody seems to notice that shit. Something I always found funny about that shit, but I notice that shit quite often because, like I said, I was raised red pill, so I know what male bitch stink looks like. And the sad part about that is the same when I tell somebody that they're suffering from male bitch stink, they'll say I'm suffering from male bitch stink, and that's usually a sign that that person is suffering from male bitch stink, which is actually really funny. And the sad part about that is when you run into a lot of people like that, it kind of sort of gets very messy, and it gets very dicey for all intents and purposes, for the fact that you basically either have to be a dick when you go about it, or and watch that person keep on being a bitch, like just keep on saying bitch stuff behind your back, basically, or bitch shit under their breath, because this is typically how men do it. They act just like women. They'll say it under their breath or as you're talking, or they'll take little snapshots at you while you're talking, and they'll do other shit like that for all intents and purposes because their feelings got hurt because they know you're right. And the sad part about that, instead of admitting you're right, they fall back into male bitch stink, or bitch stink for all intents and purposes, which I refer to as male bitch stink. And when you actually catch these men doing it, and you actually put them on blast for doing it, they'll try to say you're thinking male bitch thing, or you're doing this, or you're doing that for all intents and purposes, when in fact you're not. You're basically just calling them out on their bitch thing for all intents and purposes. The sad part about that is there's a decent amount of men that suffer from this. And the sad part about that is usually a lot of the men who suffer from this shit tend to be raised by single mothers, or they were raised in a household where their mother, if they had a father in a household, they were raised in a household where the mother was pretty much the first word, last word, and she pretty much was the strong person in the family, and her dad was very weak. For all intents and purposes, is usually how that works. And you can usually tell people like this because they tend to act differently, and they tend to get very emotional very quickly when you poke at their when you poke at them a little bit, for all intents and purposes. You don't even have to even be poking at them seriously. It could be something like, it could be a joke, but the motherfuckers would get like very emotional very quickly over a joke, or or they'll or they'll, like I said, they'll just take little snapshots at you. They'll pick on you verbally and keep on like pressing your buttons verbally like they're fucking children for all intents and purposes, and they'll act like a big ass kid in your thing, and that's typically how it works. Great example of that is Friday Night Bonfire. I mean Friday Night Blaze. Friday Night Blaze is a good example of that shit actually happening in a stream. And the sad part about that is the people don't usually don't realize that they're doing this shit when they're actually doing it. Another good example of that was the one live stream that I was doing when I was talking about what was it the psychology of when I was talking about when I was basically reading people in the comment section based on based on their videos and how they were raised, if they were raised by a single mother, single father, based on like if they were skinny boy jeans or not, or Jordans and shit like that. Another good example was that video too with that guy, not that guy, but y'all know who I'm talking about. I forget his fucking name. He always he always acts like a fucking he always acts like a bitch when you actually talk about him or something like that. But yeah, there's that guy. There's him too. But the funny thing about that is you tend to run into a lot of that, and they want to act like you you're right. You're right. And the sad part about that, you run into these people and they get very emotional around you, and they'll say shit like, "You don't know me, dog. You don't know me. How you gonna act like you?" And the sad part about that is the minute a person actually says something like that, you automatically know that person because you've heard that so many times before. Women say that shit on a regular basis. How you gonna just judge me? You don't know me. How you just gonna judge and put back up? You don't know me. Women. That's typically a woman response for all intents and purposes. Because the sad part about that is, if you've ever noticed, the men would actually mimic the same behaviors, moods, and mood patterns that women would do. They'll even practice. They'll even mimic the same NPC talking lines that women do for all intents and purposes, which I've always found funny. And it's like, dude, okay, really, dude, you're really acting like a bitch right now. Like, I'm gonna need you to knock it off. And the sad part about that is when I actually say it, A, you're pissing me off, and B, you're either doing something that's not conducive to this fucking live stream or not conducive to this conversation for all intents and purposes. That's not going to help the conversation or live stream actually progress properly. Because the sad part about that is you'll run into a lot of people that suffer from bitch think like that, or that'll tend to have like ADHD, where you'll say something and it'll go, "Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I was playing this game," or, "Oh, I'm sorry, Tico, I wasn't paying attention. I accidentally had the live stream in the background still going." Seriously, nigga. Seriously, nigga. And the sad part about that is that right there, when people do shit right there, that's actually basic bitch stink right there. Because the sad part about that is the fact that you weren't paying attention. It'd be equivalent to if let's just say a good example of like somebody doing some shit that I just said like that would be equivalent to you're trying to talk to a woman while you're on a date with a woman, or you're trying to talk to a woman while she's texting something else. That's typically what that is. That's bitch thing. That's bitch thing. The minute you have to tell me I wasn't paying attention because I had the live stream going on behind me, or I wasn't paying attention because I was playing a game or I was doing something at the time, that's female bitch thing. That is female bitch thing. That's typically how it works. Because I'm the type of human being. I usually say this when I'm actually talking about stuff. I usually say, "I'm not going to chew my food but once." I heard that from a southern black person. "I'm not going to chew my food but once." It's typically how that works. What's up, Garuda Ghost? What's up, Shinobi One? And the sad part about that is that's when you're dealing with somebody with female bitch thing. That's when you're dealing with a man with bitch thing for all intents and purposes, because they'll do shit like that on a regular basis, and they'll pretend like, "Well, no, you were picking on me." No, I'm not picking on you. I'm basically telling you about yourself. That's not picking on you. That's me being honest. That's typically how that is. And the sad part about that, well, why you got to be like that? And then they'll say stupid shit in your comment section like, beta, or you're a beta, or you act like a beta, or you should let that person talk. No, I'm not letting betas talk in my fucking live stream if they're fucking up the whole entire flow of the live stream. That's some no, just now, just now. And that's typically how it is. Because the sad part about that is I'll get people up in my live stream that'll say the dumbest, most ridiculous shit, and sometimes I'll let it slide. Every now and again, I'll let it slide. But the sad part about that is when I get there's certain times when I'm actually trying to actually get this shit moving right along because I don't need it to go any longer than it need to be, and motherfuckers will say stupid shit in my live stream. I'm going to cut that motherfucker off because now you're just being a bitch right now, and you're trying to make this longer than what it is. And typically, how I look at that shit, it would be if a good example of that would be if, let's just say, I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all been in relationships. What's up, Mega Man? I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all been in relationships. Think of it like this: a woman, you ask a woman how her day, you ask a man how his day is. Oh yeah, fine, it was great. This and the other, done. You ask a woman how her day is, that turns into a whole entire fucking lifetime story and shit like that. And with the soap opera music going on in the background, and her crying like she's trying out for a fucking Grammy or Emmy and shit like that. Talk about, yeah, that's basically what it is. That's typically what you're dealing. That's typically how I view people who do that shit in my live stream, like a big ass bitch. That's going way too damn much, going to this way too damn much. All I asked was how your day. All I want is a yes, fine, or not. I don't need this extra bullshit over here to basically make this live stream any longer than what already is. It's bad enough my live streams are long enough as it is now. I don't need it to be like 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. Because the sad part about that is, if you've ever seen my live streams and they were that long, either A, we were having fun, or B, we've had to explain shit over and over again to some dumb fuck in the live stream. That's typically how that works. Most lately, well, not like the last few live streams, but lately it's because we've had to explain stupid, dumb shit that we basically had to explain shit to dumb fucks basically that slow down the live stream, or we have somebody in there that has a very slow pace that pretty much carried out the length of the live stream. Typically, is how it worked. Or like I said, we had fun in the live stream and it was long. But the sad part about that, those live streams are very few and far between, where we actually have fun in a live stream repeatedly. It's typically how that works. But the sad part about that is you run into people. Well, no, it's not even the fact that it's an opposing opinion. It's the fact that they're preaching bullshit on a channel that's red pill. You see what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things that I will and won't do on my damn channel. One of them is preach bullshit on my channel, and the other one's I'm not going to go far right on my channel, and I'm not going to go far left on my channel. I'm always going to be up the middle on some shit, so I can give you a realistic analysis on what you're going to fucking deal with. So I'm never going to give you some shit on the left, and I'm never going to give you some shit on the right. I'm actually give you the most realistic thing that can actually happen to you in your fucking life, for all intents and purposes. It's typically how it is. Because if it was opposing views, I can deal with opposing views as long as we can make it move along very quickly. But if we can't make it move along very quickly, and the person's basically has bitch stink, then that tends to be a problem for all intents and purposes. And it's stuff like that that just blows my mind when I'm dealing with people, and it makes me look at the person like I would a woman in a Western world. Because the sad part about that is there's a lot of men that I've had on my live stream that I start side-eyeing like, dude, you act like a bitch. Like, that's literally what I'm looking at the person doing. There have been a lot of people on my live stream where I just side-eyed them and said, dude, you're really acting like a bitch right now. And that's exactly what I'm thinking while they're fucking talking. Like, why are you acting like a bitch? Why do you sound like a bitch? Like, and that's exactly what I'm thinking when I'm actually looking at people side-eyeing a lot of people on my live stream when they're in my live stream. And typically, if you do it long enough or repeatedly over and over again, I'm going to eventually say something about it, because there's only but so much I'm gonna let slide in my live stream. And the sad part about that is people usually know this because they know when it's coming based on a naming scheme of a live stream. For all intents and purposes, you know shit's actually going to go down when I name something a certain thing, and that's typically how it is. It's like, okay, yeah, now I got to burn this bitch alive at the stake. I don't give a fuck anymore. This motherfucker doesn't need to be around me no more because he's on some bitch thing shit. And that's typically how I feel. So when I burn somebody at the stake, I'm pretty much already wrote you off. Like I've already written you off probably like 2 live streams ago, but I'm probably not going to tell you it up until I actually make that live stream and you actually jump in it and I burn you at the stake. That's typically how I feel about shit. Because like there's a high chance that you rub me the wrong way for a couple live streams and I let it go up until actually this live stream here, like the Friday Night Blaze live stream was a good example of that. I don't give a fuck. I've already wrote you off. You have nothing to offer. You bring nothing to the table. That's besides just saying stupid shit on a regular basis. And the sad part about that is that stupid shit's not ever really conducive to anything that I make in my videos for all intents and purposes. There's a difference between letting somebody just fall down the stairs and standing back and somebody talking about slapping a bitch. Like really nigga, really nigga, really? Are you trying to get me to have to bitch slap Wojcicki over here? Like I'm gonna need you to shut the fuck up. So I'm gonna have to bitch slap Susan Wojcicki over here. And that's typically how I feel about that. Like, no, don't be saying stupid shit on my live stream if you know it's wrong for all intents and purposes. Like, no, that's not how this works. I mean, we do say some crazy shit, but we don't talk about really doing anything violent to women for all intents and purposes on my live stream, which is typically how that works. And then you get people on my live streams that'll say stupid shit like that, and I'm usually side-eyed and I'm like, really, nigga, this is what we doing now? This is what we doing, nigga. This is really what we doing, nigga. And it's typically how I feel. And it gets kind of hectic and it gets kind of crazy. And the sad part about that is I try my best to actually, when I do live streams, when I have multiple people in it, no matter how many people in it, if you've ever noticed, despite the fact that there's like a bunch of people in the motherfucker, it tends to stay pretty organized. And everybody tends to get a turn for all intents and purposes when they speak. Every now and again, somebody's got to step in and say, whoa, hang on. Let such and such talk. But for the most part, the shit usually goes pretty smooth for all intents and purposes. I don't ever have to be on my live streams, trying to tell everybody to mute their mic until I call your name. I'm not going to say any names, but I think y'all know who I'm talking about. Because I shouldn't have to do that. As if you're a grown-ass adult, I shouldn't have to do that for all intents and purposes. And it's all about having fun. And you shouldn't have to mute your mic to actually make a good live stream. Because the minute you have to mute your mic, either A, the person that got you muting your mic wants all the fucking air time and all the breathing time, or B, the person that's muting your mic is a fucking beta. That tell you mute your mic is a beta because he doesn't really have any arguments to really, he doesn't have any arguments in his fucking live stream to back him up on anything he got to say because everything he says is ad hominem for all intents and purposes. So typically, this is why I don't tell people to mute their mic. Now, if people are muting their mic, they do it on their own free will for all intents and purposes. Like you'll hear, like every now and again, you'll see Double I mute his mic. You'll see me mute my mic. You'll see True Sherm when he's doing something else mute his mic. You'll see every now and again you'll see Seki Soap mute his mic. You'll see Baron Yam mute his mic. I've never asked them to mute their mic. They just mute their mic because either they got something going on outside of the stream, which is fine. But most times it's like, I don't ask them to mute their mic. They usually do it themselves. Only person that has a problem with not muting their mic when they got something else going on is MGTOW and the Win. But the funny thing about MGTOW and the Win is the funny shit that he got going on his side of the mic is like some of the funniest shit in the world. Usually he's like cussing out a trucker, or he's cussing out a Penske truck, or he's telling Milo to sit in his own damn seat, or he's cussing out a lot lizard, or he's cussing out somebody else. Or he's always cussing out something for all intents and purposes. And the sad part about that shit ends up being funny as hell. It ends up being disruptive as hell, but it ends up being funny as hell, which actually makes for something that's usually entertaining when you sit there and listen to him go off on somebody or something for all intents and purposes. But yeah, he's definitely got to learn how to mute his mic sometimes. But like sometimes it's just funny, and every now and again it gets disruptive. But and I end up really muting his mic for him. But yeah, he's pretty okay. Another good example of that is I like it yesterday when I muted my mic because I was trying to help a veteran actually get help a veteran actually find a place yesterday for all intents and purposes. Because for those of you who don't know, I donate my free time, and I'm actually volunteer my time to actually do this shit. So I volunteer my time to help a veteran find home and housing for all intents and purposes. And when I do it, I'm basically dropping my own money and I'm taking up my own time. So I'm not being paid for this. at the end of the day. And the sad part about that, when I actually find a veteran a home and I get them all set up, as long as I can actually do that for a veteran, I feel like I've been paid already in full for all intents and purposes. Typically how that works. So yesterday I really wasn't saying much in the stream because I was actually making calls to get a veteran. I found a veteran a house or a place to stay for all intents and purposes, and permanent housing that is, not temporary housing. Don't every now and again I'll get hung up on temporary housing. I'll have to put them up in temporary housing so I can get them long term housing. But usually I'm pretty good at making good deals and making shit happen to get him long term housing for all intents and purposes, and get him his benefits that he deserves. It's typically how that works. So yesterday I was kind of quiet in the stream because I was actually helping a veteran do what he needed to do so he can get off the streets and fix his life for all intents and purposes. Is usually how that works. But I'm getting off topic. Sorry about that. Get back on topic. That's the reason why my mic was actually muted yesterday. Yeah, and it's typically how it is, Gruda goes. If you're in somebody's stream, I want you to feel welcome in my stream. I don't want you to I don't want you to I don't want you to feel like you can't do shit in my stream or you're restricted in my stream for all intents and purposes. This is why the streams usually go off without hits. Don't get me wrong, every now and again, and that's usually when a certain person's in it, my streams will be all chaotic. And that's usually when a certain person's in it, because that person got the bitch thing. It's like, but usually they go off without a hitch for all intents and purposes. And the sad part about that is it's always smooth and everybody gets to talk and everybody gets to talk and everybody gets their chance despite the fact that there's a billion people on my stream on a panel. I mean, you'll have like a moment where like everybody's talking or a bunch of people are laughing at somebody's joke and shit like that while somebody's laughing. But typically we make it work for all intents and purposes without making it chaotic. And that's true. That's very true, Garuda goes. That's very true. Um, I try. I'm not the best at it, but I do what I can for the people that I actually can do it for all intents and purposes. And it's typically like if I'm going to be getting this person housing for all intents and purposes, I'm off topic again. If I'm going to get the person housing, I would like the person to be sitting in front of me so I can make a visual assessment of the person so I can know that I'm actually not just going to be dropping time and effort and money into somebody who's going to pretty much mess up. For all intents and purposes, is usually how that works. Hey, Saki Soap. Hey, Saki Soap. But typically, how that works is a lot of people. Yeah, he did call you out. He did call you out, Rodney Dangerfield. That was funny. But typically, how that works is I like to have fun in my streams. When I have a panel of people, we don't always have to talk about a topic. I just want y'all to have as much fun as humanly possible. Because at the end of the day, we're all in the manosphere and we talk about shit all the damn time. When I have a live stream with people, I want them to be able to take a break from talking about shit and just talk about any fucking thing they want on their mind for all intents and purposes. You don't necessarily have to talk about red pill shit. You could it's basically like the last stream. I conduct live streams basically like we're bros at a bar drinking beer for all intents and purposes at the local pub. Like I was telling Maga Man for all intents and purposes yesterday night after the live stream was over. He goes, I only want to run. I'll basically run my run my live streams like bros at the pub at the local pub drinking beers and having fun and shooting a breeze for all intents and purposes. That's basically how I run my live streams because I don't want everything to always be like formal in structure or feel like you gotta live up to a certain standard or you gotta live up to like you gotta live up to all these people in the stream for all intents and purposes. I just want to have fun. I want to have fun, help have everybody learn each other basically while they're all relaxed and chill and just saying random shit for all intents and purposes is all I really want to do. I don't care about being like I don't care about going hard. This is why I always refer to my streams as informal roundtables because they're not formal and it's all about having fun while you're talking about various things and topics that come to your mind in the whole entire stream. Because at the end of the day, what a lot of people don't know my live streams are are freestyle for all intents and purposes. There's never a topic going into it unless it's like True Sherm's Relentless, and usually True Sherm leads off with something that's on his mind for all intents and purposes. The rest of the streams, unless it's like, a news driven stream, a news clip driven stream, or like a video driven stream, they're pretty much freestyle. They're pretty much meant so everybody is able to go with the flow and not feel like they're, uptight Brian Gumble, or Tucker Carlson on the damn thing. Usually just relax and have fun. It's typically how that is. But the sad part about that is you get people in there that get a little too relaxed and start getting bitch stink for all intents and purposes, and it kind of sort of fucks up the stream, and it fucks up the flow of the stream for all intents and purposes. It's pretty much what it is, and the sad part about that is when it comes down to it, what I want my streams to actually do is be able to, show unity within the manosphere for all intents and purposes. When you get random people in there so they can come in and tag in and shit like that, and tap in, tap out for all intents and purposes. I want the manosphere to basically be able to. I want my streams to be able to show unity for all intents and purposes. It's typically how I look at the streams. I don't care if you come in. If you come in with a topic, come in with a topic. I'm all good for. We're gonna talk about that topic, but it's all about making that stream flow without any problems for all intents and purposes. Is usually how I want to do it. Which brings me to my next point when it comes to bitch stink. The funny thing about bitch stink is because if you've ever heard me say it, like, I don't get involved in drama at all. I don't get involved in no drama whatsoever. However, if somebody says something about me or tries to, disrespect my character, I'm going to respond. I am going to fucking respond. And the sad part about that is I've actually learned to do that very efficiently, very quickly, and I can do it in a day for all intents and purposes. And the sad part about that is, if you're going to assassinate my character, just because I say I don't get involved in drama, that don't mean I'm not going to respond to your dumbass for assassinating my character, because now you're on some bitch stink shit now. Because you can't be sitting up here on some bitch stink thinking that I'm not going to respond to you. I'm going to respond. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt your ego. And you're going to feel some type of way about it. And we're going to move on from that shit, because that's going to be the end of it. And the sad part about that is, a good example of that is the whole entire fallout with the manosphere with MGTOW Dictionary is a good example of that. Now, he said some shit about me. So those 12 videos were made about him because obviously he wanted some attention. And that's typically what I pretty much went on to do, was to give him all the attention that he fucking wanted. So the sad part about that is, like, well, Tico made all these videos. Actually, I didn't make all them videos. My son Laszlo made all them videos. My 6-year-old made all them videos. So anytime I respond to somebody, it's either my son Laszlo doing it or it's my daughter Talia doing it. So they're going to do all the response videos to people and take the time to, give you the attention that you want, the attention and love that you need for all intents and purposes. I usually get my children to handle that, which is actually pretty funny. So any response videos to anybody, unless it's like a jokey one, any response videos to anybody is pretty much handled by my daughter or my son on a channel. And that's typically how that works. I'm gonna give you, and it's meant to give you all the attention and love and support that you need when I make response videos to you. It's typically how that works. Yeah, I'll send you a link. Might as well. Yeah, what the heck. And if anybody else want to jump in, you can jump in too. What the hell? So it's free for everybody. You can talk now, Psyche Soap, if you want to come in. I ain't hurt those feelings. I put a link down there. Get your ass in here and talk. Plus, I wasn't talking most of the damn stream last night anyway. So you ain't got no room. You were actually free to talk. I was actually busy. So I don't want to hear no shit. Now get your ass, hit that link and get your ass in here. Oh shit. Psyche Soap is a trip. But typically those are things that I typically have a problem with when it comes to men acting like women for all intents and purposes, because it gets a bit ridiculous when they start acting like women for all intents and purposes, and it's kind of sad to watch men act like women, and a lot of men tend to do that a lot, and it's sad and it sucks. And Mega Man in the house,
What's up, my brother? Hello, brothers in the manosphere. How are we doing today?
pretty good of you.
Not too bad, not too bad. I just stuffed my face with reduced fat Cheez-Its while I'm watching your live stream.
Reduce fat Cheez-Its. Why reduce fat Cheez-Its?
Why not?
Cheez-Its, do it big.
Why not? See, this is exactly what I mean, man. You got to go in there with an open mind, man. You know,
Yeah,
I was
true.
listening for a while, and I decided, hey, man, when it comes to, especially I'm coming into your house, you know what I mean? It's like a house guest. You got to kind of come in there and just, relax and sit back and just have a good time, man. Even with the live stream I was in with you guys, yesterday, I put aside my political differences and just kind of like, hop right in there, like you said, at the bar. It was awesome. I had a great time, man.
Yeah, that's typically what I want to have. Now here goes Psyche Soap.
Yeah.
Now you can say some shit. Psyche Soap in the house. Oh shoot!
Here we go.
My goodness.
Love you guys. Really seriously, I gotta go to
I
work,
love you
man.
guys. You're at work. You're at work right now, really? You and Yam be always trying to get in trouble and shit. I swear. Oh God. But yeah, what are some things that y'all encountered when it comes to bitch thing? Might as well continue that.
Well, if you really want to know, I mean, I deal with it on a daily basis, and you see how I handle it. I kind of let them dig their own hole first. Like what happened with JD Miles. And first off, before I even get into that, I want to give Jinky's show a lot of credit if he's in here watching or if he picks up on this live stream. Because he, when you do like what I do in my live streams or even on my channel, and I'm trying to preach unity in the manosphere, and I've been doing that. But you got the one or two, salty salts like you're talking about here, like JD Miles is one. I don't want to bring that kind of attention to your channel, so forgive me for dropping names, but it's just you let them dig their hole, and they twist your words and misconstrue things, and then they start with the conspiracy theories, and then like you were saying before I joined up with you, they're putting all this nonsensical babble out there that makes no sense, throwing you under the bus without even talking to you. And that's when I let them dig their hole, and then all of a sudden I'm like the creepy guy with the ghillie suit that jumps out and scares you, and I put out all them videos. No, I'm like the creepy guy with the ghillie suit and the rubber dick to beat you over the head.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm laughing at the ghillie suit, because I haven't heard that in a minute.
Yeah.
The ghillie suit.
Once you get to understand my sense of humor, I like to be visual. I try to get people to be visual when it comes to my sense of humor. But it's just, it's the simple fact of the matter is that when you're out here, you're going to have situations like this. And I've learned to kind of let them dig their own hole, let them trip over their own feet, let them step in the dog poo while it's nice and wet before it dries up in the hot summer sun. And then that's when you strike, and then you hit them the most. And then Janky was kind of right, and he's like, dude, we don't need this. You shouldn't do it. I mean, because I'm the one that's been talking about this quite a bit. And I'm like, you know what? My man is right. And I decided I'm going to be the better man. And I dropped, I think, like 3 videos. I deleted those videos from my channel to be the better man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you're going to encounter this out there where people are going to be like, So.
Yeah. And then you'll run into it. And the sad part about that, this is all about how you handle it. Because I know the minute I have to make a video, videos have to be made about a person, I usually get my children to do it, because I kind of figure, well, fuck it, I don't feel like doing it, but I know my children like doing it, so I let them be petty as children and do it for all intents and purposes and give you all the attention and love you need. And the sad part about that is I'm not taking those videos down. It's on. They'll stay up so you can go back and look at them. That way you can't say, well, Tico said this. Nope, this is exactly what happened in the video. This is exactly how this works. This is exactly what I said. You can't twist my words, in other words, because the videos are still up. And that's typically why I leave up those videos for all intents and purposes, because you're not fin to actually have, you're not fin to say, well, Tico this, and the other, because now Tico's got to make more videos about your dumbass. And I gotta pay my children like $25 a video.
Oh, see, you got a whole staff, man. I'm working solo over here.
$25.
You know what I mean? The closest thing that I got to a staff are my, Star Trek starships in a mirror. You know what I mean? I got no staff here. I'm all by my lonesome. But in all honesty, man, I've learned, especially as my channel's grown bigger and bigger and bigger. I've been trying to be a little bit more neutral with my content without getting into all of the diatribes and the nonsensical garbage that's constantly pumped out by the same 12 or 14 people again and again. And some people thrive on that stuff. It's like, look at me, look at me. It's like, you ever see like Die Hard 2 when Bruce Willis is trying to land the airplanes in the middle of a snowstorm? That's kind of like what these guys are doing. It's like, look at me, and they're kicking their legs. And I'm like, yeah, okay, you want your attention? I'll make you 5-minute famous. How's that?
Okay, yeah. I tend to ignore shit like that. And anytime I see a video that pop up in my feed like that, I'm like, oh, this motherfucker. I'll turn it on and I'll watch the first couple minutes. And the minute that motherfucker start doing that shit, first couple minutes, I'll be like, you know what? Nope, done. I'm moving on to the next video.
Like, oh, and I love
like, and there's people that have unsubbed to for that reason. Like,
yeah,
oh God, unsub.
I love the conspiracy theories. I love the fairy tales. I love the made up bullshit. I love the make believe stuff. It's like I mean, there's times where when I pump out content to respond to this sort of thing, I literally brain fart because there's only so much I can say and make fun of these people before I literally can't say anything anymore. I mean, how much, you know what I mean? Like I literally draw a blank. And there'll be times in my videos I'll literally double facepalm because even I don't script any of my videos. Everything is Johnny on the spot. And then all of a sudden, like I get this idea and then boom. And then basically it's just boomeranging their stupid shit back at them. And that's the only way to get at them. And when I did those videos against JD Miles and literally sat in front of my TV set and called out that he literally said he was guessing. When you use the two words, I guessed. So that means you have no clue what you're talking about. But I digress. So you let them fall into their own hole. Let them trip over their own feet. Let them be salty. Let them cry. Let them whine. And you just keep on going, man. And you just don't stop going forward. You keep going. Don't let anybody get in your way, man. Say your piece.
Yeah. And that's typically how I feel about stuff like that. Like, never let nobody get in your lane. Never let nobody try to... Because I've always been one of those people, like, just because... Like, and the neat thing about me is, like, because like MGTOW Life says it best, Tico Tren is red pill as fuck. It's like, and it is what it is. I am, but the sad part about that is, like people will come to my channel and go like, well, Tico Tren is this, Tico Tren is that. Like, no, Tico Tren is actually in a relationship, but Tico Tren is probably more real pill than most other people who actually spit red pill and is very savage about it. Because like I said, I'm the nigga that actually said, let a bitch fall down the stairs and step over the body, or let a bitch fall down the stairs and just handle that for all intents and purposes. Because that's typically how I feel. If you're going to do something stupid, I'm not going to stop you or help you from I'm not going to save you from stupidity for all intents and purposes. Because that's typically how I actually operate. So if you're a female, you're going to do something stupid, don't expect me to put my arm out there to stop you from crossing the street. Because I watch many women walk out in the street, looking at their phone, go over the top of the hood of the car. As soon as the light turned red, I step over their body and keep it moving.
See, that's how I think. I'm the same way.
Yeah, like that's simply how I feel. Like,
yeah, I love the shock and awe. I love doing shock and awe. I want people to sit there for 2 seconds and actually say, "Oh my God, did he say that?" Like in your live stream, when I said the closest thing that Tommy Lahren is going to have to an orgasm is a cool breeze. The closest thing that she has to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Things like that. The closest thing that she's going to have to an orgasm is when she takes a shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to be like that sometimes. I said even in the political.
You definitely do. You got to be very harsh and very, very stonewalled with people. You got to be very. You got to be willing to actually be very, steadfast with people.
If you can do it in such a way and weave a tapestry of language and the likes of which that will make people think and laugh and be like, wow, and shock them with what you just said. Even in my political videos, when I'm chastising my former home, say this 10 times fast, the criminal, radical, fascist, socialist, leftist, hashtag Me Too, Antifa, Black Lives Matter regime in New York City.
Yeah.
I've literally said this, that, California should have another earthquake. Seattle, it should keep raining and raining like the biblical floods. Let it rain 6-7 days. Hopefully 9/11 will get a visit from the little brown people all the way across the other side of the earth again, flying airplanes and parking their planes into Wall Street. I've said this. You have to sometimes be brutal. You have to, it's not just enough to put your opinions out there. I look at it as like taking a chunk of concrete and slapping him in the face.
Yeah, that's typically how I feel about the stuff too. Because when I actually give a visual, I try to be as visceral as humanly possible with it. When I give a visual, and like when I'm trying to explain something, I'll say this is the best visceral way I can actually explain this to you. Is typically how I usually do it. And like you can actually get a visual when I actually say that. Like, okay, yeah, I can see that. Ooh, that's gruesome. Yeah. But I can see that. It's typically how I actually get my point across in a lot of my videos, because I can't see myself doing any other way outside of being very visceral about something and having you think about something. But the sad part about that, I've noticed when it comes to me, the most funniest shit that I say it when I'm being very serious, apparently. Because people find it funny when I say this stuff. I'm like, no, dude, I'm being dead serious. They go, no, I know, that's why it's so funny, because you're dead serious about the shit, and it makes it funny. And like, people just laugh at me. I'm like, no, dude, I'm dead serious. And the sad part about that is after I think about it after a while, I was like, okay, yeah, that was kind of funny now I think about it.
And that's one of the greatest things I think that I found with the manosphere as far as live streaming, like speaking to you, True Sherm and all these other cats, man, is that when you break it on down, guys are going to be guys. Men are going to be men. And I even said this, regardless of how people feel about, Red Pill Elite or Mr. Elite, in a lot of ways, I support that rant that he had, though I would never choose that kind of language when you have over 2,000 subs. The simple fact of the matter is that, sometimes, man, you just need to laugh. You need to laugh, or you need to get it out. You need to release, man. And guys are very simple when it comes to that sort of thing, man. Just tell your story, and with me, I have a tendency of lacing it with humor. Sometimes I can be really serious. But the point is to, make people feel like, like you're part of the family. Like, that's why I film here in my living room, like I do, for example. I want people to feel like
I know that's right. Film in my living room. I know that's right.
Yeah.
I know that's right.
You want your audience to feel like they're at home, especially guys. You know what I mean? And the cursing and the swearing, the foul language and the humor. Like telling some of these feminists that they need to get laid with the broken end of a broomstick and the splinters have to go in the wrong end. Things like that.
Yeah.
You have to lace it with humor. You got to,
because like I know when I do actual videos, like actual video videos where I record myself, I try to do it in front of my flag, because that's where everybody pretty much met me at, in front of my flag, in front of my Costa Rican flag. So like I typically do videos when I do something where I'm actually going to show my face and actually do an actual video. I tend to do it in front of the flag. That way everybody feels like they're at home with me for all intents and purposes. And I like people to feel that way for all intents and purposes too. But every now and again I can't do it because I'm always busy and I have to go on the fly, and either I'm using a computer that don't have a camera, or my laptop, and I'm like, fuck, I don't even feel like using a camera on my laptop. I'll just do it. But like every now and again I will show my face, but usually when I show my face, it's usually because I recorded a video to actually show my face for all intents and purposes, and that's typically what it is. But on live streams I try to make it as more efficient and more much more easy, make it flow much more easier without my face, because sometimes I'll make some facial expressions and people get hung up on my facial expressions while I'm talking. So it's like, it's like, wait a minute, did you just make that face really, Tico? Really? Like, no, wait, I'm trying to explain this to you. Tico, that face though. Okay, yeah. I'm trying to explain this to you.
No, I'm very visual. Like you guys were saying last night, like this dude's got like a tape measure. He's got props. He's got like real props. And the thing is too, also it accentuates the message a little bit on my channel. For example, like the facial. Who is it that asked me about the facial? Was it you or was it Sherm? I forget.
Probably was Sherm.
It might have been Sherm. Where did I get the face shield from? And just bringing those extra things, like one of my videos, I had a box of masks, for example. So, all right, the laws say you're supposed to have a mask. What happens if I put the mask around my wrist? What happens if I put the mask behind my head and I wrap it around my ears? What happens if I bring an unopened box of masks and say, well, here they are, here's my masks? And there's a humor in that because you visualize somebody actually doing that. And that's what makes
I would
it
do some
funny.
shit like that. I have to have masks. I got masks right here. Do you need one?
Yeah. And that's what makes it funny. And your audience is like, holy shit, I never thought of that. You kind of have to make your audience think a little bit too. And I love it, man. I love like some of your comments, for example, were awesome, which I got to acknowledge, by the way. You know, it's like being at the bar with the boys. It's exactly what it feels like. And I enjoy it. I really enjoy it.
I plan on doing a formal live stream one day, but like, I don't know. It'll probably fuck up the whole entire flow of my channel if I did that, because I typically like to keep it light and fun when I do panel live streams like that for all intents and purposes. And I don't know, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird.
Simple works, my man. You know, you're dealing with guys, and guys are simple. Guys, I mean, not dumb, but you know, like simple, like easy. Just let guys, like what you were saying, don't let people hijack your live stream. But you know, when you got 5, 6, 7 guys in there, everybody's gonna want to break balls, and everybody's gonna want to put their 2 cents in, and you know, it's just. The
neat thing about the live streams I've noticed is like nobody's been really breaking balls lately. They've been pretty even keeled, and they've been actually on point and stuff like that. And they've been letting everybody speak. I mean, apparently Psyche Soap feels left out because apparently he didn't get to speak last night. But like, I'm sitting there thinking like, I wasn't even in the stream. I actually had to help a veteran. Where the hell was you at?
I didn't want to say anything because it was my first time in there, and I don't want to overstep my bounds because, you know, I'm in somebody's house, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And the sad part about that is like that stream last night, I was basically hosting it for somebody else because that stream is actually True Sherm's stream. That's why it's called True Sherm's Relentless. But that's True Sherm's stream, and I basically host that stream on his channel because it's kind of fun, and it brings like a sense of, you know, brotherhood and, you know, friends and like camaraderie for all intents and purposes in the manosphere when I actually have those shows. So I try to have a decent amount of those shows a week so we can actually feel some camaraderie throughout the week for all intents and purposes, and not only have to fill it on a Monday or Tuesday when True Sherm gets in. So I try to have live streams at least 3 times a week so we can actually feel like we're homey and like, you know, like we're homey and very friendly and stuff like that. Not friendly, but you know, we're cool and like we're just bros at the bar drinking beer for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, I read you. I apologize. That's Psych Soap. I'm looking at the comments. Yeah, I'm still messing around with my sound here in my home. I'm going to be further upgrading my stuff for future live streams. And you know what the thing is too is I got a loud, deep construction. They call it the construction.
That buzz is probably my mic, Psyche Soap, because my mic's been buzzing like my headset's been buzzing like that quite often. Because Sos and I want to say it was either Shinobi One or was Americus was telling me that my mic was buzzing. So it might be my mic.
Well, I'm pulling mine back just a little
but it's doing that.
One of the things I want to get a professional. I think Sherm had one that I saw in his live stream. I'm going to be looking to do some serious upgrades here because as my channel grows, especially after I did the live stream with Dude Less Lethal, you know, I finally started to upgrade. You know, at least getting a better pair of headphones and stuff like that. So at least, you know, my audience, when it comes to the Less Lethal stuff, at least they can hear me. So you don't sound like the way MGTOW in the Wind did. I mean, he sounded like he was in a fish tank almost.
Well, he's in a truck and he gets a lot of noise around him, and he's using like he's using Bluetooth. So like it's connected to his Qualcomm, and which is connected to his truck, which actually gets a lot of shit going on around him. So you hear his truck, you hear his dog, you hear the engine, you hear everything else around him. So it sounds like he's actually being muffled out by his truck for all intents and purposes, which really sucks in a way because like it kind of sort of throws a monkey wrench in what he actually has to say because like all you hear is engine and noise in the background for all intents and purposes. And I typically like to have him in a stream when he's actually on his downtime because it's much better and it's much quieter when it's actually that.
I tell you what, the next time you do that and he's on there, I'm probably going to record it for myself so that this way my piece of shit neighbors upstairs with their 2 kids romping and stomping around, I'm going to blast. I'm going to blast MGTOW in the Wind. Is go run that button. I just want to hear his voice resonate through my apartment.
Oh, that would
might
be
scare
funny.
the shit out of them.
The sad part about that is MGTOW in the Wind's voice is actually pretty funny and it resonates pretty nicely if you actually record it. Because I've actually got a couple of clips where I isolated just MGTOW in the Wind's voice, because I'm actually making a video about MGTOW to win. So I got like clips where I just isolated his voice alone out of the live stream, and I got him saying random shit like "motherfucking Penske truck."
He did that with me, as a matter of fact. Because I had just a little bit of an issue between Baron Yam and myself, but that was easily solved between him and I.
Yeah, I
It was
know.
a little misunderstanding. So
yeah, so like I like to isolate. I like to isolate some of the stuff that he says in the live stream, so I can make a montage to him. And it's like the funniest shit in the world that he says, like "motherfucking Penske truck."
Oh, he's got good one-liners. I thought I
Yeah,
had
he does.
good
He does. He
one-liners,
definitely
man.
does. And that's typically how I try to. So I'm basically isolating a lot of stuff that he says in the live stream, so I can make a montage to him and make it funny. And I've actually started with doing it with Baron Yam too, where I isolated his voice alone in the live stream, and I actually put like some of his funniest shit that he said, or some of the moments when he actually said something very silly that it was like really, really. I was expecting you to be on point today.
Oh yeah, he's got the isms.
Yeah,
That's
the
what he's
isms,
got.
and every now and again,
Yeah,
Yam
he's
would
got all
actually
the
have a
isms.
brain fart, and it'll sound like he's just lost in a stream for some odd reason. But like, yeah, he's usually on point. And the sad part about that, he's the youngest person in the stream for all intents and purposes,
Yeah.
and he's always on point for somebody his age. He's like 23, and he's spitting knowledge like he's fucking like 40 or 50.
Oh my God! Let me tell you, you young guys, man, I felt like the old fart in the street. Well, Sherm, I think, is my age, but
Well,
man,
I'm older than
young
you
guys.
also. Double I is actually older than all of us. He's like 90 years old. I'm just kidding. No, let me go pick on Double I. Let me go pick on Double I.
That means he needs the
Double I is about like
literal blue
48
pill.
ish.
Yeah,
Huh?
he needs the literal blue pill.
Yeah, literally. That's Viagra, right?
Yeah.
No, he's good. That's my cousin. I like picking on him. I always picking on him on a regular basis.
It's all in good fun, boys.
Yeah, no,
All in
yeah,
good
I always
fun.
chuck
Listen,
with him. I always say, like, how old are you now? Like 70 now? He's like, fuck you, Tico. Like, what? I'm just, look, you're acting like I'm just saying. Fuck you, Tico.
hey, listen,
like,
man.
what?
I mean, look at my forehead, man. My forehead is as long as a slice of Kraft cheese, so that's fine. You know what I mean? You gotta laugh. You gotta laugh.
Yeah,
a little bit. That's
definitely,
what it's all
definitely.
about, man. Yeah. Oh shit! I miss Tucker Carlson, man. See what I sacrificed for you, my brother? I want to see Tucker go beast mode. He's been going beast mode. I don't want to get into the politics and stuff like that, but usually around this time,
I tend to dodge the politics. The only time I talk about politics is when people get stupid about politics, where they say, "Well, my state don't open back up. It's Trump's fault." No, it's actually your governor's fault. It's your senator and governor's fault. Go talk to them motherfuckers about your state not opening back up, because there's several other states that's open right now, and yours is one of many that's still closed. So I think there was 5 states. There was 5 states that remained open during the whole entire lockdown, and your state's still open. So obviously it wasn't Trump's fault because they were able to stay open. So that means your governor got you locked up in the house and shit like that. Your governor, senator, and mayor got you locked up.
Yeah, everything is always somebody else's fault, but the person committing the bad action.
Yeah, no, like he just signed an executive order. No, everybody doesn't have to follow the executive order. It's typically how it works. Like people took the executive order and ran with it way far right with the shit. They got people in their houses talk about you can't come out your house. If you do this, you'll be arrested. If you have a party, you'll be arrested. You'll get a citation. You'll go to jail. Like, dude, what the fuck? Are we living in Soviet Russia? Like, come on now, calm down. But okay, Mao Zedong, calm it on down. Like,
it's going to get to the point where like you're taking too many breaths of oxygen in one day. Like you're going to have. You ever see like the Flavor Flav clock that he had on his chest when he used to rap? We're going to have something like that, but it's going to be like a water meter type thing. How many breaths of oxygen you use? And they're going to send a bill to your house for O2 usage. That's what it's going to come to.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you're going to be charged for how much oxygen you take in. I believe it. That sounds about right for the way we're going in the United States for all intents and purposes. It just looks like something that's going to happen. And the sad part about that is we got way off topic in this damn thing.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. That's my fault.
Fine.
All right, you can roast me, baby, roast me.
You're fine.
That's my fault.
You're fine.
Man, that's my fault.
You're fine. But but typically to actually get back to topic just a little bit, like. Absolutely. Basically, you want your streams to flow very freely. You want it to be fun, just like we just had right there. So, bitch stink fucks that shit up. If you ever have bitch stink, that whole entire free flowing and exploring different topics in your stream. If a person with bitch thinks in your stream, they're going to fuck up that flow.
Agreed.
It's typically is where I'm actually going with this. So the sad part about that is, as long as you can actually flow very freely and not get caught up on emotion in a process and have emotion take over you, you'll be fine. Sad part about that is I've had a couple of those in my stream, and I've pretty much worked it out for all intents and purposes. It's like,
Yeah,
and I stopped letting them in the fucking stream for that reason. And the sad part about that is, go ahead.
No, I was going to say the problem. I don't know who it was that actually commented or wrote this comment in your comments section. I would probably experiment, in your next live stream with not going any more than maybe 4 or 5 guys at a time, just to see what happens, and then adjust it from there. Go with 6 guys, go with 4 guys. It all depends.
Usually there is like 4 or 5 guys in there, but usually when I invite more people in it, it's because I know people are running out of ideas, and I know that I usually I'll invite multiple people on the stream that I know always got an idea or has something that they want to talk about, so we can keep it going. So it won't be like a stream of like dead air, like I'm a Twitch streamer.
Yeah.
Throwing shade at Twitch streamers.
There's also
I want it to be able to go.
Too.
I basically want my streams to be able to go to distance while having fun, while going that same distance for all intents and purposes. Because I never want it to be dead air in between, and I never want never want there to really be a lull time unless we're talking about like something stupid or something, like a game. Like the one time we played a game of Smash or Pass, or who would you hit? Who's the most ugliest girl to you by standards? And like we played that game for a long time because apparently my picks weren't ugly enough. Apparently, so
gotcha.
That drug on for a while because of that. But like I never really want there to be a lull time, where it's like a boring lull time for all intents and purposes. I always want it to be something going on or something that segues into something else for all intents and purposes.
Yeah. I mean, I've been getting suggestions from some of my viewers, to make live streams that are very specific. I'm kind of mixed on that because I like with yourself sometimes. I mean, I like to keep an open audience, man. I want everybody to be able to say their piece and just come up with whatever. But unfortunately, what you're going to end up dealing with is the guy that's never wrong.
The
guy that's never wrong. And that's a guy that you have to shove a ball gag down his throat.
Yeah, there's always that guy.
Yes, pretty much. Allow me just to interject. I have to get going, but I just put out a video, and I think based on this topic...
did not come in here to advertise your video.
Yes, I did. I dropped the video. No, I'm not here to advertise the video. I'm really just trying to say that the bitch think it's just it's about having low standards
and low self-esteem,
and low self-esteem, and it's a boot. I sound Canadian. It's a boot. It's kind of about like when you waste your time, kind of like when and it comes at the shaming. It comes after shaming. Like when people keep telling you need companionship, you need to find a woman, you need to do this, then you rationalize and justify to yourself, well, maybe I need to put in the work. Maybe I'm not putting in the work. And I think that's what gives the male bitch think onus to sort of like, not really have any standards. And what that does is it actually makes it so that the women that they train to be submissive, now when they're out in the street and they meet a thug who doesn't like the word no, then their submissiveness gets them into the trouble that they're in, where they're having a bunch of babies, or they're getting sexually assaulted. So, that's all I gotta say. Peace out. I'm out. So.
See, Bear Yam. And that's actually very true when it comes to submissive women. The more submissive a woman is, the more likely she's going to be taken advantage of in public. That's typically how that works. Because you can't have a submissive woman and then be wondering where she is, and she's getting her back broke by, like, Pookie and Ray Ray, and meanwhile you're just Tyrone. Or she's getting her back broke by Chad. I mean, she's getting her back broke by Guido and Tony, and you're just Chad. That's typically how that shit's going to work for all intents and purposes. Because people always try to pitch like the most nonsensical ideas in my live streams about dominating people, when in fact you're only setting yourself up for failure because of biology. You're trying to go against biology. The problem with biology is you're going to get screwed with biology. You're not supposed to do that shit. Either get somebody that came prepackaged, and this is typically what I was saying in Friday Night Blaze. You basically want somebody that comes prepackaged that way, or if you gotta train somebody, you might want to take them back to fucking Walmart and put them and tell them that you want your money back, and you might want to take their ass to a more expensive store like Robin Stuckey's to get you a real fucking person. Sometimes you got to spend some money to get real people, or sometimes you got to be money to get real people for all intents and purposes, or sometimes you got to know somebody with money that can get you the right person. Because I look at it like this: if you got to train a woman, this is bitch thing 101. If you got to train a woman, first off, that'd be no different than a woman saying, you know, he's a mama's boy, and everything he does, he always listens to his mama. And the reason why I have a problem with him, because his mama runs her house, because he let his mama run his house. That's pretty much what you're doing with a fucking woman. That's pretty much what you're doing when you try to woman. Because I don't believe in raising somebody else's child. They should have been raised by that damn adult, or them damn adults, or one adult in this day and age that called yourself their parent. That's not my job to teach them how to do that shit. It's their parents' job to teach them how to do that shit. And the fact of the matter is, I always said, if them bitches if them motherfuckers can't do that shit, let it be man or woman, you don't need them in your fucking life. If them motherfuckers is a mama's boy and everything he does is for his mama and mama, that's going to be your life for the rest of that's going to be your relationship for the rest of your fucking life. So think very hard and long, ladies, when you pick a man that's a mama's boy, that everything his mom pretty much runs the house from her damn house, or runs your house from her fucking cell phone. That's bitch thing. When you actually date somebody like that, that's bitch thing. Or when you take a woman, you try to train her, that's bitch thing too, because now you're trying to work against biology.
You got the opposite. Look at my situation with the mother of my kids. This is a 40, and I'm not ashamed to talk about it because of everything that I was fucking put through. So for me to roast her right here, I feel I am entitled to do so. This is a 43-year-old. I have no shame. Yeah, I have no shame in saying it. The simple fact of the matter is, this is a 43-year-old woman that's never lived on her own. I've been on my own since I'm 18. I've been irresponsible. I made bad choices. I hung out with the boys a little too late. But never in my life did I ever do the things that she accused me of. But that's neither here or there. The simple fact of the matter is that I've always been independent. And she just will not leave her mommy and daddy. And it's sick that you have women that are like this, that are just so spoiled rotten that they won't lift a finger to do anything. They want to be weighed on hand and foot. They want their feet washed in a platinum bowl, and then you got the soy boys that are out there that gravitate towards these women who are so desperate to fill in that void in their life that they will bow down and get on their hands and knees and beg, "Yes, master. Yes, master. What do you want me to do for you, master? Oh, you want fruit salad? Yes, master. I go run. Oh, you want me to do your laundry for you? Yes, master." And just completely cave to these females. It's like, it's insanity. Like the obedience, it's like worse than trying to train a dog with a dog whistle at that point.
And the same thing about that, there's a lot of those men that actually fall into that category, but then they act like they're tough and they act like they're really running their house when in fact their woman is actually running them.
Exactly. That's exactly.
And I always laugh about shit like that, because like the sad part about that is like most of the people who actually subscribe to me, most of my base subscribers basically know that I'm actually in a relationship, but I'm still going to say some realistic, savage, red pill shit, despite the fact that I'm in a relationship. Because I get people that always say, "Well, Tico, I don't understand why you don't teach people how to be in relationships." Because 9 times out of 10 or 10 out of 10 times, they're not going to find somebody like this woman. So therefore, I'm not going to teach them to run to their fucking death. Why am I going to teach a bunch of men to run to their fucking death? It's that simple.
I can tell you, being red pill and MGTOW like myself, being that I was already in my life in 2 serious relationships, let's just say over a total of a 20-year life, 20 years of my life, I was with, I had 2 serious relationships, and you can see, like I've had two women hit on me down here, and I can already tell they're either looking for a baby daddy or they want you to be a plan B. And the fucking plan B shit, I don't think so. I'm not going to be a fucking temporary. No way, man. You want fucking temporary? Go get a fucking gallon of ice cream like they used to do in the 80s and watch some soap operas.
They still do that now. What do you mean go get it like in the 80s? They still do that shit now. Girls' night with ice cream and shit like that, or they'll be at the counter eating ice cream and shit like that.
And guys fall for these types of women, man. That they're trying to fill in the void. Well, maybe if these women didn't.
I either got to be the void my damn self, or you get sucked into me, or it ain't happening.
And the worst part is when they start comparing you to their ex. It's just they want their ex minus all the bullshit. And I can't stand that. See, this is one of the things about being MGTOW Rip Hill that's epic. It's the fact that
definitely.
we know their behavior. We identify their behavior.
You gave me a good idea
for
the next podcast now. Thanks.
Hey, you're welcome. No, seriously. Hey, that's what we're here for. I'm here to serve and protect. I have done my civic duty. You know what I mean? See, there you go. See, this is how you do it, guys. This is how you do it. You offer some good advice even when you're not offering advice.
Good advice, right?
You know, this is what it's all about right here, man. This is what makes the manosphere
damn it, now I got to
awesome,
beat Tico to the punch now. Damn it, that was my idea.
I'm already setting it up. I'm back at MAGA HQ in my fucking chair. Fucking God damn it, Tico! You son of a bitch!
You gotta beat me to the damn punch!
Copyright strike that bastard. That was my idea. Jesus Christ on the cracker.
Goodness gracious, that's funny.
But in all seriousness, man, yeah, some of these women are just, it's a fucking disaster when they're trying to replace what they had. They want what they had minus like their shit. And all they see on your shoulders is their ex-boyfriend's face. And then they try to fucking mold you and twist you around. And nah, I'm done with all that stuff, man.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
definitely.
finished with all that.
And that's typically how women see men for all intents and purposes. Because I made a video about men. A man and a string of men in a woman's life is basically nothing more. Because here's how, and I said basically, this is why women feel entitled when they get into their next relationship, because you're pretty much their last boyfriend. It's pretty much a continuous relationship from their last relationship. So they think they deserve all the shit that they get for the fact that you're nothing more than another carbon copy of her ex, which is another carbon copy of her ex, which is another carbon copy of her ex, which is another carbon copy of that ex. So you're basically nothing more than a warm body who she just slapped her ex-boyfriend's face on, and you're basically a long line of her ex-boyfriends, repackaged all intents and purposes. So she's basically trying to mold you into her ex-boyfriend. Then she gets unhappy with it. Then she wants to break up with you, or the fact that you don't change to her ex-boyfriend, she'll leave you too. It's typically how that works. And the sad part about that is that's all she really wants is like you said, she wants her ex-boyfriend without all the bullshit.
Yeah. The worst woman, in my opinion, and they should have criminal charges brought up against them. All right, they should really have criminal charges brought up against them. Are the ones that try to friend zone guys, the ones that tease your pee-pee to no end, that they look sexy in front of you, they tell you to bring them to all the bars and all the restaurants, and then you got the fucking beta soys that go out there and do that kind of shit. And then the girl runs off, and this guy thinks he's getting laid. Meanwhile, she's with Chad or Tyrone, hitting it up while Dickhead is being a wallflower, standing there watching it. Are you ready to go home yet? Oh, you're such a good friend. God, thank you for having me around. Chad, let's go. Fuck that, man. It's all stupid. It's so stupid. Their nature is so fucking warped. As long as they get what they want, you know what I mean? As long as they get what they want, they don't give a shit about how you feel at the end of the day. It's what they want, how they want it, when they want it.
Get it, and how fast they can get it without exerting as much energy as humanly possible doing it.
Yeah. Because
women are always going to go with the easiest time. They're never going to go with something that they actually have to put in work to actually do. They're going to go with what's easy. It's typically a good example of that is men who date an easy lay who looks good. They're higher up on the SMV scale. Who date somebody that's like a 3 or 4 or 5. They're like 8s or 9s basically. That's typically what women do. That's typically women's attitude when it comes to men. If a woman has to put in any type of effort, she's going to go with the easiest option. Because a woman doesn't want to have to put in the effort. She wants a man to have to put in the effort for all intents and purposes. And that's typically how that works. And the sad part about that is this is why women who are on the lower on the SMV scale always feel like they're the shit because they had like somebody that's an 8 or above or a 7 and above. Now they feel like they're a 7 and shit like that. And they feel like they can get 7s despite the fact that they're probably like a -3. But it is what it is.
So you got a lot of fellas that are out there that are into pumping and dumping. I'm not one of them. You want to know why?
I mean, the problem I have with pumping and dumping is, one, I like to know where the fuck, if something happens sexually transmitted disease-wise, I would like to know where that fucking disease came from, first off. Secondly, I'm not finna validate no bitch.
Yep.
That's typically how I feel about it. I'm not validating any bitch for all intents and purposes when I pump and dump a bitch, because technically sex to a woman is validation. You're validating a woman when you give her sex. That's all you're fucking doing. That's why that's why I never really got into the whole entire pump and dump or, one night stand shit, because I'm not finna validate a bitch. It is what it is.
It's a little deeper than that, though.
You're breaking up the go. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, let me go back over here. I was going to say that, say like if you're a PUA, for example,
mm-hmm.
and you find one of these women at a bar or a restaurant who's having a fucked up relationship or just got out of a relationship, whatever her situation may be, and you take her home, and all of a sudden she thinks you're in a relationship, you're fucked, because now you just bought yourself a stalker.
Yeah. And the sad part about that is, like I said, you're basically validating that woman.
Yeah.
I basically said it. I basically said what you said. Basically, ABC for dummies. You're basically validating a woman for all intents and purposes, and now she thinks that she has an in or out, basically. And this is why we say never take a woman to your house. If you're gonna have sex, either have sex at her house or have sex at a hotel. Like, no.
Don't you understand what I'm trying to do here, brother? I'm trying to scare them into not doing this stuff. Damn it.
I know, but I'm just saying,
man.
For all the people who are actually into that stuff, never take her to your fucking house, bang her out in a car, a hotel, or her house. And 9 times out of 10, you probably don't want to pay for a hotel because you're only banging her out. So either do it in your car or do it at her house.
Yeah, because once she finds out where you live, you're fucked. Because now you're gonna find,
you're fucked like a motherfucker.
You're gonna find boxes and packages of fucking. She's going to start leaving you flowers and fucking cologne and, fucking stuffed teddy bears that say, I love you. You ran into that problem
before there, MAGA man. What's really going on? Tell us what is really going on, pimp.
I watch a lot of TV. Asshole.
Sound like you went through that shit there. Sounds like.
Honestly, no, I've never gone through it, man, but. I've never gone through it.
You ain't got a lot to kick it. Tell us about it. No,
I'm serious. I've never gone through it. Listen. Hey. Listen. I'm an old fuck, but I'm not a stupid fuck. Believe me. I've had a lot of guys. A lot of my friends have dealt with this. I've heard horror stories.
Right. Now you're blaming it on your friends. Now, got it.
Oh, wonderful.
I'm messing with you.
You see how he flips the fucking script on me, guys? I don't like you anymore. You're not my friend. You're not my buddy, guy. You're not my girlfriend. God damn it.
Oh shit, that was funny.
You see, guys, this is how you have fun. If you can dish it, you can take it, boys. This is how you do it. And I appreciate that, man. I really do. That's awesome, man.
I always joke with people like that. I got to.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's too fun to leave it open. I would just hurt myself if I left it there. People like, I gotta do it. It hurts not to do it.
Just keep talking. You know why? Because right now I got the speakerphone onto my phone. I just dialed 911 for senior citizen abuse. Yeah, officer, you listen to how he's talking to me? Yeah, you see now he's laughing at me. He's making fun.
Officer, I'll do it again.
So
say I won't. I'll do it again.
But yeah, man, this whole salty bitch thing is like ridiculous, man. The fucking blue-pilled simps. It's sad.
Yeah. And the sad part about that is, like, there's a lot of people that actually suffer from this, and they don't realize they suffer from it, but they want to project it onto you and say that you're suffering from it. Like, no, dude, you're suffering from it. I'm gonna need you to focus on it and deal with it. I don't care if you got to lay on somebody's couch to do it. I don't care if you got to go work it out at the gym or run it off or whatever you got to do to handle that. I'm gonna need you to handle that, like, real shit. Like, that's exactly how I feel. Like, I'm not trying to pick on you, but you got to handle that. You really got to deal with that shit because you're really suffering right now.
It's pride, man. A lot of it is pride. Guys just cannot. People in general, I think it's human nature in general to refuse to look in the mirror and say, "Oh shit, I just might be wrong."
Yeah, that's typically what it is. Because I always say something to the extent of, everybody loves my honesty and tell us about them. Then they want to unsub from me and call me names and shit like that. I love my honesty and tell us about them. Typically how it is. And the sad part about that, the people who even know that I'm going to be honest, they they tend to walk on eggshells, or they tend to like go, okay, this might be about me, so I'm gonna just leave this alone and walk away very carefully. And the sad part about that, there's a lot of people that I've actually said shit that actually struck a chord with them, and they like, fucking, I'm unsubbing from Tico. Fuck you, Tico. It's like, hey,
Yeah, you gotta red pill him. You gotta red pill him and let him know. Let him know.
Even red pillers need red pill shit. Sometimes
Yeah,
they gotta have a constant reminder. Some damn times.
Here, look at it even today. Like I said,
that's why we preach the same stuff over and over again from many different people, because you got to remember this shit. Because a lot of y'all forget the basics and go on about your merry way and forget the basics. So, like when you hear something again from somebody, go, oh, that's a good idea. I forgot all about that shit. I gotta internalize that shit and file that in my memory bank so I won't forget that shit again. Basically, because the sad part about that is we forget. This is a lot of information that you're getting. You'll forget, nigga. You'll really forget. So you gotta you gotta be able to take on information and not be narrow minded, because that's actually a bitch thing too. Being narrow minded is actually very bitch thingy for all intents and purposes. You gotta have an open mind when it comes to things. You gotta always be able to want to learn and want to expand upon yourself. Because if the minute you stop wanting to learn is when the minute you stop wanting to expand, you basically turn into a woman.
Exactly.
Because men are known for exploring and finding new things and finding new ways to do things and finding more efficient ways to do things.
Yeah,
that's typically what a man's nature is.
Huh? Yes, we are the problem solvers. We are the creators of things. Without the seed, there's no tree. Womans forget that. If not for our seed, if not for what comes out from between our legs, the little prick doesn't get spit out from between her legs. And they tend to forget that. Without our seed, we don't have a human race.
True story.
And that's just the way it is.
Very true.
But since you've made my asshole bleed from all the psychological abuse you have dished upon me, sir.
I can't help it.
I am going to
I'm not a psychologist, so I can't help it.
No, that's fine. Oh, so that's what this is, huh? I know it's a fucking trap, god damn it. Who's taking notes, you assholes out there? Listen, you could write a whole series on me, man. Oh boy. I'm gonna be. This is like interviewing the Unabomber or fucking Ted Kaczynski.
Interviewing the Unabomber. No, I don't think it's that bad.
But
I've met some pretty crazy people in my time, but I don't think you're that bad.
Man. But I appreciate you having me.
What?
Yeah, I appreciate you having me here on the stream, man, and busting balls and having a good time and chit chatting, man. I'm gonna gracefully bow out. So thank you for having me on board, kind sir.
You're welcome anytime, brother. Anytime.
And I am going to have to put some salve on my asshole from the roasting I just got. Thanks.
You did not get a roasting. What? About to have me sound
anyway,
like I didn't do anything.
This man says it's right. He's making fun of me. Jesus Christ, I'm going into a blue pill rage. You bitch.
Right?
Oh my goodness. I'm in such a blue pill rage. Whee! All right, I'm done. I'm out. Ladies, gentlemen, people of all sorts of shapes and sizes, I'm gone. I have no outro here, so I'm just going to say ciao.
All right, see you, man. Thanks for coming. But yeah, that's typically what this live stream basically was about. Basically, it's about having fun and being able to talk about various things that are bitch think. I would like to thank Seki Soap for jumping in. I would like to thank Baron Yam, and I would like to thank MAGA Man for jumping in and putting his 2 cents in on various things about bitch think and mulling over what bitch think actually is in their eyes and how they view things. Despite the fact that Seki Soap didn't really say much, but besides his intro, like he always does. But typically, yeah, it's all fun. It's all about fun, and it's all about if you can dish it, you should be able to take it most definitely as a man, and that's typically how it is. You should never revert back to bitch thing. You should always be if you're gonna dish shit out, you got to be able to take the shit that's coming back to you, because at the end of the day, if you're not going to do it, then you're turning into a woman, or you have too much soy in your diet. Or you have too much Similac on your fucking lips, or typically is how it works. But yeah, y'all have a blessed day. Be good to yourselves. Treat yourselves like milk. Do nothing but spoil yourselves. Be good to yourselves. Improve yourselves, and always improve upon yourselves, and always be willing to help out others, and help them improve as well. And always keep an open mind, and always be willing to learn is the key to the best life. Have a good one. Y'all be blessed. Have a good night. I'm out. Adios, my niggas.